Hello everyone, I am Rasmus, and as Sebastian said, I am part of the Sunfall game design team who are constructing the fictional reality that we're going to play in this year's version of the Sunfall live-action role-playing game. So, for starters, one of the major things that we've decided to change this year is, of course, as many of you know, the location. We decided to play inside, which has some consequences for the game, but also has some thoughts behind it. One of the things we wanted to create is we want to create a more dark, a more futuristic, and more dystopian reality for you to play around in, to try and narrow down the different kinds of experiences that you can have, but try to make those experiences be more equal for all of you, so that the reality and the fiction that we create is more streamlined and more like one big fiction than sort of fragmented fictions. The other major thing is that we wanted to create a city that feels alive, a city that's dark, a city that has alleyways, buildings, light, all kinds of different things you would find in a future city that has seen the end of the world. So, what is the background and the story of this city? We've decided to name our very beautiful city Nova, and Nova is an old factory that was used for something before the war or the great catastrophe that has happened in this fiction. It has running water and power, at least sometimes power, but it's not a nice place to be. It's a place where the city it is in, Roskilde, is ravaged by storms, by dust, by all kinds of different diseases, mutants, and whatnot that people create either in their minds or from a long time of radiation. Nova is also a city that's very closed off to the rest of the world. It's not a city that's been well known. They're sort of kept to themselves quite a lot, also because they've been very privileged in this dystopian future. To have running water and electricity is a pretty nice thing. So, until recently, the city has been opened by this sort of layback of storms. The storms have stopped for some time now. And that means a lot of new travelers, especially people from the city of Sunfall, have arrived at Nova to see what is this new place and what is this thing that we are at. So at the start of the game, which is one of the new things that we're trying to do this year, is trying to define what is the thing that creates the drama in the story from the start. Sort of the starting point of what happens that makes all these people go crazy the next 5 days. Why is this the interesting time to play in this city? The gate that is sort of the big thing in Nova, the gate that keeps everything outside and also keeps everything inside, decides to close itself and to shut down for whatever reason. There will of course be some reason that you can explore as players, but it's not the main plot to figure out why the gate is closed. But it's a way for you as groups and as characters and as players to decide, how do my character react? Do I kill the people I hate because now I'm closed in with them, I can't just ignore them? Or do I have to sort of make friends with the people that I don't like because now we're stuck in this situation together? As we've done before in the Sunfall games, which is a post-apocalyptic game, we take a lot of inspiration in costumes from the Metro games, the Metro fictional universe, which is a bit darker than Fallout. But Fallout's costumes are also very much a thing that you can take inspiration from in creating costume designs or other kinds of visual inspiration. Here are some examples of costumes from different types of post-apocalyptic movies or films, other games as well. This year, like we also did at Sunfall last year, we will have different types of camps where you as players can stay. The city is divided into 5 different districts that also represents 5 different, or 4, depending on how you look at it, different sort of social levels of wealth, status, or stuff like that. Sort of the different communities that are inside of the city. In these districts, we will divide them into camp spaces, and hopefully, we hope that many of you will help us create this very interesting city by creating these campsites and making them your own. We will use represented weapons in the game. We will be using Nerf guns and other foam dart weapons to represent firearms and other kinds of sort of present-day military weapons. And we will also use buffer weapons as foam pipes, foam knives, and stuff like that to represent melee combat or other forms of violence in the game. Now, for the rules in Sunfall, this is sort of part rules and part fiction. Radiation is a big part of the future world, of the future apocalyptic world that we'll play in. Not only because it's a rule system that works with these armbands that we have that has microchips in them. They look like this. They're not all blue, but they look like this size. In the game, they are actual armbands that have been regulating the level of radiation in the city and in the people that live in the city. They are used the way that you take pills to sort of control the level of radiation. This is just a super easy mechanic and a super easy technical thing that we can sort of measure how radiated you are, and you can get some numbers or colors for how sick you are going to be. But it's also important to note that it's a big part of the fiction. It's something that people talk about. It's not just a number on a screen or something you have on your arm. It's a big part of the everyday life of what it's like to live in this world. Combat is very simple. If you get hit, you're hurt. And if you're hurt, you can't continue fighting in that sort of scene you're fighting in. There are some rules for armor, which are on the web. I will not go into that too much. But in general, it's sort of, the idea is that combat needs to be fun and also realistic. If you feel like you get stabbed twice, and it would be really cool if you keep fighting against this guy because you have this awesome fight going on, just keep fighting a little bit. But remember that it's also a system to fight with people you don't know well, who you're not sure how to play with. So this is a way to do that. If you get hit, you have to withdraw from the combat that you are currently fighting in, and you need to see a medic for treatment in some way. If you die in Sunfall, at Sunfall Metro, you have to come up to the game designers, the game design team, and talk to us about what to do next. Either change a bit of your costume, discuss what kind of character you want to portray. Do you want to get some help to change a group, or do you want to keep playing the same group but with a new character, and how to do that. One of the things that we are very happy about is that we want the death to be your choice as a player. So at Sunfall Metro this year, the rule is that if you want to die, it is always the person who is dying's choice. If someone shoots me, it's my choice if that kills me. Alright. Mutants. As we have radiation, we obviously also have mutated people. They can look very different. We want people to remember to look mutated if you are a mutant. You have to be able to identify these people in some way. If you want to be sort of hidden mutated, have something on your arm that you can hide or stuff like that, it's very much plausible, but we want to know as game designers so we can plan that into our game and our general plot and narrative directing. Alright. This year we've also added some diseases. We've not made a million different things you need to remember by mind, but we want to keep it very simple. So we have, I think it's 5 different diseases that have names and symptoms and stuff like that. They're used so that you as players can easily play diseased and go to a doctor who can actually diagnose you with a real disease. You don't have to sort of try to communicate with this person that I'm role-playing that I'm sick. You know what disease it is. He will actually know what disease it is. All our diseases are opt-in, so if you don't want to play diseased, you can just not do it. We'll not force you to be sick. None of the diseases will be so contagious that you can't choose to not be sick. It's a way of furthering your own gameplay. Like all our rules are constructed, if you want to do it, it's there to help you play more. Alright, that is all for me. And now we have Sebastian back with some practical information.
Thank you. First of all, we have to talk about some sleeping, because some of you want to sleep during our event. I don't know why. It is so fun. Anyway, you are able to sleep in your in-game camps, and if you don't want to be killed during the night and you're sleeping back, you're also able to sleep in our off-game camp. But due to the fact that we're inside a building this year, we cannot guarantee you that it will be totally soundproof and totally sound sleepable, but it will be sleepable sound. So during the nights we will of course shut off all music, and the sound level will be 80 decibel, which is like inside a car in traffic. Eating, you are able to make your own food in our common kitchen, but as you can see, we will only supply following, which is tables, water, a few heat plates. We're not able to provide heat plates enough for everybody, but there will be some. So we would like you guys to bring your own heat plates to be sure, but we will provide enough electricity for you all to heat your meals. So what we do not, and furthermore, we do not supply kitchen knives, plates, pots, pans, whatever. You have to bring that yourself as usual, as all our other events. There will be toilets of some reason. I promise you that. But what I cannot promise you is bathing, because we're in a location where it's not possible to have baths. But we have made a deal with a local swimming pool that you guys can come down to for the cheaper price. It's 5 minutes by car and 15 minutes by walking, of course. What I will end this presentation with is one of our cool community managers, Sabine, have arranged a little new activity for us, which is Instagram. We will from now on post all our new cool pictures and small videos on Instagram. And if you guys want to participate in that, you just have to hashtag Sunfall, which is our new hashtag. That was actually all from the practical. We will have a little FAQ, which is after the break, because we'll have a short break now for 5 minutes, so people can just talk a little and you can come and ask us questions. All right. That's all for now, and we will get back to the FAQ in 5 minutes.
Cool.